What's going on, everybody? It's Still Alive, and we back with another one, man. And I just came across this video like a minute ago, and I don't know who it's about. I just simply seen the title, and I was like, okay, I gotta see who this is about, man. So we gonna react to this live together. We don't know who the player is, we don't know nothing, but we about to find out who really changed the rules, because most people think it was Shaquille O'Neal, because Shaq was breaking backboards like crazy. But supposedly, whoever's in this video was really breaking backboards. So let's find out who it is, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let's do this.
December 5th, 1979. Darryl Dawkins has just shattered his second backboard in the space of just 2 weeks, forcing the NBA to change its own rules and literally impact the game of basketball worldwide just to stop one man, Darryl Chocolate Thunder Dawkins. But how did Dawkins become this dominant and powerful when
Throw it down.
dunking? How did the NBA really stop him? And what did Darryl do to adjust his game to all these rule changes to ensure he could keep dominating? Well, to find that out, let's dive right into his rookie NBA season. Darryl Dawkins, thanks to the Supreme Court ruling in favor of Spencer Haywood, who had sued the NBA after they attempted to void his contract after the ABA star signed in the league due to the fact that Haywood had not completed the then mandatory 4 years of college, has just opened the door for something shocking to happen, with the Philadelphia 76ers picking Darryl Dawkins 5th overall in the 1975 NBA draft.
Okay, so we back in the 70s. This is why I haven't heard of this dude before.
Darryl has just become the first ever player in league history after the 6'11" star led his high school team to a Florida State championship to be chosen in the first round straight out of their senior season in high school. However,
crazy. I never heard this name before, but he was the first ever to come straight out of high school at 18 years old.
Due to Dawkins' age, Darryl barely saw the court throughout his initial year in the NBA. The rookie would ultimately appear in just 37 games, and in those rare moments in which the Florida native saw the floor, he averaged only 2.4 points and 1.3 rebounds, depressing Dawkins, who believed, despite his age, that he was truly ready for the NBA. So, to keep his mind occupied, the 5th pick incredibly continued on with his old weekend job at the same tire shop he had worked in high school. But
a lot of players back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s had side jobs, especially when they first got into the league, because they weren't making crazy money.
Why would an NBA
players were not making millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s? They just weren't. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Dr. J kind of changed all that. Dr. J was one of the first to really get a huge, that I know of, to get giant contracts for millions of dollars.
Do this? Well, Dawkins, who took the exact same wage he used to receive before his career in the league began, did this to repay the man he called Pop, who had not only given him the job Darryl and his family so desperately needed, but also access to a car when his family simply couldn't afford one. Yet, what was about to happen would change Darryl's life.
See, he wasn't working there because he needed to, maybe not, but he was working there because he felt like he owed it to that dude, which is extremely respectable.
Life forever.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
As with the American Basketball Association and the National Basketball Association merging, Philadelphia acquired who was arguably the ABA's greatest
Dr. J
player, Julius Dr. J. Irving. To make things even better, Dawkins, another supremely athletic talent just like his new teammate, began to not only receive more minutes on the court, but the opportunity to share his
So he played with Dr. J? Okay.
Massive personality off of it.
In his spare time, Darryl Dawkins is a disc jockey.
But like I said, this is the rockin' sockin' DJ, the big dog, here to talk, that loves to be your friend, your grand, love the rapping cap for a while, be your friend as long as you smile. But
boy was putting down dunks with some power.
Fancy free bad as I want to be. I love fast cars, a cool summer breeze, love when I want to and quit when I please.
Going so far as letting everyone know that if he wasn't playing basketball professionally, he would have been a vampire, as well as sharing
What?
the poetry he would pen about the dunks he was starting to showcase to the whole world.
Turbo Sexaphonic Delight dunk, which you go up and swivel your hips a little bit for the girls. The left-handed spine chiller supreme, right-handed spine chiller supreme. It got to be so much fun to me. I'd be laying home at night in the bed thinking, now, what can I do? Can I dunk 2 balls at one time? I got to come up with another name for them. But my main thing was power.
But it was ultimately the acquisition of Dr. J that saw the 76ers finally begin to turn things around, winning 50 games in the 1976.
Okay, so when him and Dr. J came together, man, they was really putting belt to ass. 50-game wins or 50-game winning seasons. Hell yeah.
77 season and setting themselves up with a second round series battle against the Boston Celtics. A matchup that, thanks to minor contributions from Dawkins, 3.8 points and 5 rebounds, that Philadelphia would move on from in 7 and advance into the Eastern Conference Finals against the Houston Rockets. And yes, true, the Houston Rockets and San Antonio Spurs were actually in the East for 8 and 4 seasons respectively. Crazy, right? Their move to the West came when the Dallas Mavericks entered the NBA in the 1980-1981 season. Anyway, there's your fun fact for this video. Let's get back to it. Yeah, the fact that the sophomore Dawkins had been dubbed Chocolate Thunder by Stevie Wonder had massively.
Anybody else think Stevie Wonder can see? If you don't, go down into the conspiracy theories about Stevie Wonder and you think he be FaceTiming people. One time he got in the elevator with Shaq and Shaq didn't say a word, wasn't breathing, nothing. He was holding his breath, being as quiet as he could. And Stevie got in, went to his floor, and as he was getting off, said, "Later, big man." And Shaq was like, "How the fuck did you know I was here?"
Improved his play. Daryl had dropped 15 points and pulled down 11 rebounds in Game 1 before adding a huge 20 points in the series-winning Game 6, helping push the franchise, which took a massive risk on a teenager, into the NBA Finals for a matchup against the youthful Portland Trail Blazers. Impressive feats from a 20-year-old that saw the man starting in front of him, George McGinnis, stating that it was Daryl who would be the future face of their franchise, as well as Dawkins dubbing himself Dr. D, hoping to one day become a specialist doctor like Julius. But could they really defeat the Bill Walton-led Portland Trail Blazers
Bill
and
Walton was a beast, man.
win the franchise their first title since the 1967 season?
Collins off now. Dawkins. That's the gorilla stuff, as they call it here in Philadelphia, by the baby gorilla. And when he
Calling him a baby gorilla is crazy. He just said that's some gorilla stuff right there. That's why they call him baby gorilla. What? That's insane.
goes up, you just get out of the way. Gilliam with a hand into the youngster. Dawkins comes up with a jump shot.
Putting that work on freaking Bill Walton.
And the crowd here just loves it. Anytime he does something, they really respond to it.
Philadelphia, mainly thanks to 33 points from Dr. J, had grabbed the massive Game 1 victory, and despite a brawl breaking out in Game 2,
Dawkins and Richie Powers is pushing Ramsey away. And now Daryl Dawkins and Maurice Wilkins. Somebody do something.
See, look, this is how I think it should be. If it's going to be a one-on-one fight, back up like the ref did, like right here. This is what this should be going on in the NBA right now, like it is in hockey. Like, you see how the ref, as soon as they started fighting, the ref backed up and let them square up one-on-one. This is how the game should still be played. We need this type of physicality back in the game because it brings that rivalry. It brings that intensity to the game, man.
breaking out in Game 2,
Dawkins and Richie Powers is pushing Ramsey away. And now Daryl Dawkins and Maurice Wilkins.
Look, the ref just lets him go. Lets him go.
Something. It's Dawkins and Lucas. Dawkins and Lucas. Jack Ramsey pushing Dawkins. And now they pull Lucas back.
which saw no one suspended.
Good, perfect. Nobody should have been suspended for that. That's how it needs to be in today's game.
Because it was the 70s, it was once again the 76ers leaving victorious, placing themselves just 2 wins away from the crown. However, with Portland heading back to Oregon for Game 3 and led by their superstar big man, Bill Walton, the energy provided by their home crowd began to fuel the Blazers. Because even with Daryl beginning to step into that role McGinnis believed he could fill, scoring 15 and grabbing 11 boards in Game 4, it was embarrassingly Philadelphia who would be reverse swept out of the NBA Finals.
Damn, that sucks, but
the 76ers weren't too flustered about this failure. Their team was loaded with young talent and having
yeah, it takes, look at the Spurs. Like, the Spurs lost this year in the finals, but they're an extremely young team. The oldest player on the team was De'Aaron Fox. Well, there's a few older players on the bench, but I'm saying, like, out of all the starters and everything, the oldest player was De'Aaron Fox. The rest of them have only been in the league they were rookies 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years in the league. So they have an extremely young team, and it kind of sounds like Philadelphia was an extremely young team at this point.
Only just received Julius Erving were still adapting to this sudden success. Therefore, with Dawkins' role only increasing in their following season, appearing now in 70 games and averaging 11.7 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks, the 76ers managed to add an additional 5 wins.
55 wins season. Hell yeah. San Antonio was the closest with 52 wins.
Before sweeping the Knicks out of the postseason and setting themselves up with an Eastern Conference Finals series against the Wes Unseld-led Washington Bullets.
That was before they were Washington Wizards, I'm guessing.
Franchise that was ultimately unstoppable in this 1977-1978 season, destroying Philadelphia in 6 games and going on to be crowned kings of the NBA.
ChatGPT, what's the best high-income skill to learn?
I just watched the Dr. J thing. I don't remember that being part of the Dr. J documentary.
No complicated skill.
And out of all the Dr. J documentary, they never mentioned Daryl Watkins and he played with him. That's why I was like, how have I never heard of this dude? Because I just watched a documentary on Dr. J and the 76ers, and they never even mentioned this player.
And yes, Washington actually has more championships than 10 other NBA franchises.
What? I didn't know that. I didn't even know Washington won a championship until just now.
So, having failed in back-to-back seasons to grab the elusive title the franchise so desperately desired, Philadelphia opted to make some moves to provide Dawkins a larger role. Firstly, trading away McGinnis to open up the starting center role for Chocolate Thunder, and then drafting a guard, Maurice Cheeks. Trust that Dr. D, aka Chocolate Thunder, aka Double D, aka Cool Breeze, aka this dude had so many nicknames. I mean, just look at his basketball reference page. That began to pay off immediately.
From the planet Lovetron, 6'11" center, 5th year, Daryl Dawkins.
Now he's getting into his 5th year, so he's starting his prime now.
I talked about my own plan.
That's the scary thing, is the fact that Wemby's in year 3. He's not even in his prime yet. Wemby's just now going to be starting to get into his prime. That's the scariest thing. Like, this dude's 5 years in now, so he's getting in, because he's 23 now. So this is when he's finally starting, you know what I mean? They're getting more evolved, getting used to the game and shit.
Lovetron, I talked about invisible cars that you could see through. Lovetron was 1 million billion light ionosphere years from here. And the only way you can get there is by going with me. Perfect dunk is when you get up, put your rear end right on the guy's head, and throw it in and tell him your mama.
Put your head right on the guy, put your rear end right on the guy's head and call him your mama.
But even with Daryl truly beginning to showcase how powerful and dominant he really was, and improving his averages across the board, not even Dawkins' 16.4 points in their second round battle against the San Antonio Spurs could see them advance back onto the game's ultimate stage due to the Spurs moving on in 7. Yet what was about to happen in the 1979-1980 season would quite literally change NBA and basketball history forever. November 13th, 1979.
This is what's left of the Philadelphia 76ers backboard.
Oh my
and I know this has to be a disappointment to you and to all the fans.
Well, it's uncalled for. You know, it didn't have to happen, but that's Daryl Dawkins.
And in
Are they really mad? Did they not have extra rims? They always have extra rims. He said, oh, it's unfortunate. This didn't have to happen. The dude was just trying to score. He didn't purposely break the fucking backboard.
All the fans.
Well, it's uncalled for. You know, it didn't have to happen.
Uncalled for.
But that's Daryl Dawkins.
an insane, awe-inspiring feat that Chocolate Thunder would repeat on December 5th.
Mr. Daryl Dawkins. Oh, he did it again. He broke it again.
Which, of course, Dawkins wrote a poem about.
Oh, the chocolate thunder flying, glass flying, Rosine crying, babies crying, glass still flying, cats crying, roasting, bun toasting. Thank you, wham, man, my MJ.
That resulted in Daryl
That's not a poem. That's just gibberish.
now being in the crosshairs of the NBA.
It was like, hey, this is the commissioner. And I went to my office tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I was like, uh-oh, Lawrence O'Brien called me in. He said, it's dangerous. I want you to stop doing it. If you don't, it's going to be $5,000 every time you do it. I stopped.
But the league knew that fines wouldn't actually stop the forceful big man, so the NBA began looking into rule changes to ensure Dawkins could no longer delay games with his rim-shattering slams. However,
They're trying to act like he was doing it on purpose. It's not his fault that the rims couldn't handle him dunking.
in the meantime, Dawkins, now the 76ers' full-time starting center, thanks to his 14.7 point and 8.7 rebound averages, had helped Philadelphia to win 59 games. But Chocolate Thunder wasn't done dominating, dropping 30 points in their series-winning Game 5 victory against the Atlanta Hawks in Round 2 before assisting his 76ers to return to the finals with his 17.6 point average throughout their Eastern Conference Finals victory against the Boston Celtics. So could Philadelphia actually get it done this time against the surging Los Angeles Lakers? Or would this be yet another finals failure for the 76ers?
What if you could make a song using only your voice?
I know,
Let's start with the drums.
I know Dr. J got some championships. I just can't remember what year.
Drums and click.
Game 5, Chocolate Thunder, who had scored 25 points in Game 2, 21 in Game 3, 26 in Game 4, and 23 here tonight, combined with the fact that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Lakers' superstar center, has just gone down with an ankle injury that would eventually rule him out of Philadelphia's home Game 6. The series, even though the 76ers had gone down 3 games to 2 as the final buzzer rang out, was apparently firmly in the hands of Philly. Only Earvin Magic Johnson, the Lakers' rookie 6'8" point guard, opted to start at center in place of his down teammate and go on to record one of the most shocking NBA Finals performances in the history of the league, dropping 42 points, pulling down 15 rebounds, all while throwing 7 assists, resulting in Los Angeles, not Dawkins and his 76ers side, being crowned kings
Damn.
of the NBA, destroying everyone within Philadelphia's franchise. But this wasn't the only tragic event to come in 1980 for Daryl Dawkins, as over the offseason, the NBA would introduce a rule change that Dawkins himself stated made him play less aggressively, as his main motivation when dunking was to destroy the backboard.
He changed the way they build backboards and rims. Are you kidding me? Like, because of him, there's breakaway baskets.
Introducing breakaway rims that would snap down to absorb the force of vicious Chocolate Thunder slams rather than distributing it into the glass. But this wasn't the only rule change.
How would that affect how hard he can dunk? That just means he can dunk harder and the rims or the backboards won't break.
The league made, which had a massive impact on Daryl, because before the 1980-81 season, the NBA also banned players from donning any jewelry in game, something that Double D had done ever since he entered the league, usually wearing multiple necklaces which display.
That's just dumb. Of course you should not be wearing jewelry during the game. I'm sorry.
his countless nicknames on them.
Funkadelic, Mama Shaking, Rim Breaking,
Rump Roasting, Bun Toasting.
Lost my job, got it back, hit my ball.
Then, to make matters worse, even with
His
Philadelphia
rhyming and his poems are just gibberish. Him mashing together random words that don't even go together.
yet again improving as a team, winning 62 games and then grabbing a 3-1 lead in the 1981 Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics. The 76ers started to fall apart as not even 21 points in Game 5 and 24 in Game 6 from Dr. D could assist Philadelphia in thwarting the Celtics' unbelievable comeback, resulting in Boston winning 3 in a row by just a total of 5 points and advancing to be crowned champions of the NBA. So could the 76ers
Larry Legend, man. You can never count Larry Bird out.
ever actually bring the title back to Philadelphia, or would Darryl Dawkins continue to suffer misfortune after misfortune? January 17th, 1982.
Darryl Dawkins winds up on the floor, no foul call. Tony Ertzen has an injury. Darryl Dawkins is shaken up as the play continues.
The Philadelphia 76ers have just lost Chocolate Thunder, and while their backboard-shattering big man would return towards the end of their regular season, he tragically just wasn't the same player who had begun their 1981-1982 campaign. However, yet again on the cusp of blowing another 3-1 series lead against the Boston Celtics, due to the fact that Darryl had been forced into a 6th-man role due to his poor health, another young player would step up and earn his own epic nickname, because with the Sixers' 1980 draft pick Andrew Toney dropping an epic 34 points in the must-win Game 7 and leading his Philadelphia side back to the finals, Toney was dubbed the Boston Strangler. His performance was so epic that even Boston fans,
The Boston Strangler is crazy,
gave him respect towards the end of the game.
And you hear the crowd is chanting to the Sixers, beat LA.
Beat LA, that's great. Let's listen.
That's respect. They lost, but they're like, hey, we're Boston fans, so y'all better beat LA.
But once again, facing off against the Los Angeles Lakers without a fully healthy Dawkins, their rival was simply too dominant, crowning themselves for the 2nd time on Philadelphia's home court and leaving the 76ers with some serious decisions to make if they were to overcome teams like LA in the finals. Therefore, Darryl Dawkins was ultimately traded away, finding a new home with the New Jersey Nets as their apparent face. And still only just 26 years old, many assumed this move would see the Nets become a serious title contender for years to come.
So he's only 26 right now, so depending on how long his body lasts, he still has another 10 years in the league.
Well, while it's easy to point the finger towards Dawkins' sudden decline throughout his initial season in New Jersey due to the fact he was adjusting to life on a brand new team, the reality was actually far from that.
And Dawkins over the top is called for the foul. So the words are no sooner out of your mouth than Darryl Dawkins, who has committed more personal fouls and has been disqualified more than anyone in the league.
As Chocolate Thunder simply couldn't stay on the court and remain available due to his league record-setting fouls. Yet, despite this, Dr. D did help New Jersey add an additional 5 wins, allowing the
76ers, even without him, still had 65 wins.
Franchise to set themselves up for a mini first-round playoff series against rivals, the New York Knicks. By the way, I say mini because at this point in league history, it was just a best of 3 in round 1. It became a best of 5 in 1984 and then a
I didn't know that.
best of 7 in 2003. But could Darryl really overcome his fouling issues and carry his new squad into the 2nd round? Or would it just be more of the same for the vicious dunker? Game 1.
But if one go down, Darryl Dawkins. Dawkins deep underneath for the slam. Look out!
Darryl Dawkins, when he was actually on the court, was quite literally unstoppable. Only, he still had one key flaw, because the Florida native simply could not stay out of foul trouble, only able to play just 23 minutes during their Game 1 loss, and while Darryl was finally able to remain on the hardwood in Game 2, playing 36 minutes and contributing 22 points, it tragically just wasn't enough, seeing New Jersey eliminated by New York. A devastating defeat that resulted in analysts beginning to ask a very important question. When was Darryl Dawkins actually going to fulfill the epic potential which had seen him selected straight out of high school all those years ago? Because Chocolate Thunder, now 27, was—
But look back on a lot of other players that were selected straight out of high school. Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, they never won championships, but they still lived up to their potential. AI, one of the greatest point guards we've ever seen. Tracy McGrady, one of the greatest. Well, I think Tracy played small forward and shooting guard, right? He played a little bit of both. But because Kobe was 6'6", Tracy's like what, 6'9", something like that. He's big. But like a lot of players that we've seen come straight out of high school never won championships. But doesn't mean they didn't fulfill their promise. They were still amazing players.
Supposed to be entering the prime of his career, and many in and around the Nets franchise were desperate for the poetic star to finally begin to carry their franchise. So, knowing how important it was to earn the trust of not only his squad, but also their fans, Darryl rocketed out to an insane start of the 1983-1984 season, smashing a Nets record with 13 blocks in a single game against his former franchise, before putting 36 points on the Cleveland Cavaliers' heads.
But Darryl Dawkins has really come of age. People around here just can't talk enough.
He used to really dunk hard, dude. Like,
his heads.
Can you imagine if he was Shaq's size? Oh my God, he would have been freaking dunking so hard.
Darryl Dawkins has really come of age. People around here just can't talk enough about him and how well he's played this year under Stan Albeck.
That's right. He's playing exceptionally well right now. And everybody's saying that Darryl Dawkins is playing like Darryl Dawkins could play. He's always had the potential, but has never come to the top. And right now it's at top.
And finally, 33 against his former rival Celtics, before setting up a round 1 matchup against the 1983 defending NBA champions, the Philadelphia 76ers. But could Darryl actually send his former franchise, who had finally gotten over the hump and earned the championship trophy after moving on from him, actually dethrone the defending kings of the NBA?
Let's find out.
Game 5.
Early in this game, you got to credit Darryl Dawkins certainly with getting the best of Malone.
After epic W's in both Games 1 and 2, which was followed up by complete failures in Games 3 and 4, this series was tied, and the winner of tonight's game would be moving on into the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs.
The pressure is on the Nets, and they've had success in Philadelphia. That should be a confidence factor for them. But they're not going to win in Philadelphia, so.
To make things even more difficult for New Jersey, their superstar made it appear as if it was physically impossible for him not to foul his rivals, resulting in the former Sixer not only barely playing, but struggling as a result of his lack of minutes, making just 1 of his 6 field goal attempts. Yet the insane play of guards Otis Birdsong and Michael Ray Richardson, what incredible names by the way, we don't really get this anymore, who combined for just under 50 points, shockingly saw the 6th-seeded New Jersey Nets moving on to face the Milwaukee Bucks. But something even more insane would happen in Game 1 of this crucial series. Chocolate Thunder, hungry to avenge his horrific performance in Game 5, came out and dropped a playoff career high of 32 points in their Game 1 victory before
32 points. Boy was putting belt to ass out there,
almost eclipsing this in Game 3 with 31. However, with Milwaukee leaving Game 5 victorious and going up 3-2 in the series, it all came down to this for the Nets. Game 6, win or go home.
Did they win?
Song 2 covered, and here's Dawkins. Hey, the Nets are hitting from the outside, at least 2 in a row.
Surprise!
Dawkins for the turnaround.
There we go.
Darryl Dawkins wants the best.
Buckets. That turnaround jump shot he had was smooth.
Surprise!
For the turnaround.
Smooth.
Darryl Dawkins wants the basketball.
Teske shoots it anyway.
Daryl Dawkins, in his 9th season in the league at just 27 years old, was clearly entering the prime of his career. Chocolate Thunder was simply unstoppable on both sides of the court, which, combined with the fact that he knocked down all 13 of his free throws and totaled 20.
And he could shoot free throws. That's kind of rare. I mean, it's less rare nowadays. There's still big men in the league who can't shoot free throws. But I feel like back then in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and even the early 2000s and shit, there was a lot of big men who could not shoot free throws to save their fucking lives.
9 points as the final buzzer rang out made it appear as if Game 7 was inevitable. Only
the gold is real, but so is the danger.
What happened? He put the only in there.
It wasn't. The Milwaukee Bucks had, by just a single point, clawed their way out of the second round, sending New Jersey back home empty-handed. Yet, things weren't all bad for the Nets. Daryl was clearly heading in the right direction, and the fact they had eliminated the defending NBA champions gave the young and rising franchise the one thing they so desperately needed heading into the 1984-1985 season: hope.
Yeah.
However, just 2 games into this fresh season, everything would change for not only the New Jersey Nets, but Daryl Dawkins' whole career. As after suffering a back injury against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Chocolate Thunder began to suffer from constant back spasms. And while he was able to return in January of 1985, things just kept getting worse and worse. Because throughout their first round series against the Isaiah Thomas-led Detroit Pistons,
Bad Boy Pistons were a tough team though too, so for the fact that he was hurt and shit, it was going to be almost impossible to get through the Pistons because they played so physical.
Daryl would average just 8.3 points and 4.7 rebounds, which, when combined with Thomas doing this in Game 3,
Isaiah's up top. Takes it right wing. 5 seconds. 4 to the baseline for a fadeaway. 2 seconds left, and the Pistons lead 116 to 115.
Saw the unthinkable happen for the Nets.
Gets it to Jaminski. Top of the key for the pop. Pops out. No, it's over. Chris Adams, New Jersey.
To make matters worse for Dawkins, even playing a bench role in an attempt to better manage his health, Daryl still barely appeared throughout the Nets' 1985-1986 season, forced to see his helpless New Jersey franchise tragically eliminated from the bench yet again in round 1. But despite all of this, Daryl Dawkins, as he had done throughout his whole entire life, kept one thing constant.
The next day is not promised to you. I saw myself as a guy who enjoyed playing basketball, had a wild imagination, and was going to enjoy life. If I had to do it all over again, I would not change one thing.
Ensuring that a massive smile remained glued to his face and joy radiated from within him, even while being passed around the league from team to team, and ultimately ending his career playing in Italy, having quite literally changed not just the NBA, but basketball forever. Because next time you walk into a gym and you see a breakaway rim, you have one man to thank for it: Daryl Chocolate Thunder Dawkins. By the way, did you know that despite the rule changes the NBA implemented to stop Dawkins from destroying backboards, there was actually another player who entered the league and continued to pull hoops down despite everything that had been put in place?
Shaquille O'Neal.
To learn more about Shaquille O'Neal's incredible 4-time championship, 3-time Finals MVP winning career.
Facts, man. Shaq was a beast. Man, that was a good one. I didn't know who that was. I never heard his name before. Promotion on streambo.org. I don't know what that is, but yeah, man, that was definitely a good one for sure. I never heard of his name. I didn't know that there was somebody breaking backboards before Shaq was doing it. So, man, I'm definitely going to keep doing some more reactions to some of these older players and stuff that I don't necessarily, because I know a lot of the older legends like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. You know, I've watched the legends, but like players that necessarily weren't legends, I don't know too much about them. So, man, we're going to get off of here, though. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to be back.